Hello everyone and welcome. I am Jamaican Youth, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about 5 ways you can save for travel. Oftentimes people believe that travel has to be expensive, and that is not necessarily true. So I'm going to give you 5 ways in which you can save to travel. Before I do so, however, I'm going to ask you to click on the subscribe button below. Your support helps to make the channel grow, and your support is very helpful and needed. So here goes my 5 ways you can use to save to travel. So my first thing is going to be stop eating out. When I talk about stop eating out, I'm talking about stop going to restaurants, stop buying street food all the time, stop going and getting quick snacks to eat during the day, and making these, quick little snacks in between as you go along during the day. That will save you a lot of money if you do so. And the reason, why this is, if you think about it, most people on a given day, on a general day, they'll go to work, they will buy breakfast in the morning, they'll buy lunch, and then they'll buy dinner. Some people may cook at night, but for most working people who are very busy, it kind of tends to go like that. So if you think about it, for example, you may spend $3 on breakfast. Maybe you buy a coffee, or you buy buy an orange, whatever it is that you buy for your breakfast. Let's say you spend $3 on that. Then at lunchtime, whatever it is you buy, you might buy, a salad or some pasta. Some people might eat a little bit less, but let's say lunch costs about $8. It might be more or less for you. And then dinner time, let's say that costs about $10. Not everyone buys dinner, but you know where you fall in the spectrum. You may buy breakfast, you may buy lunch, you may buy dinner. Regardless of what it is, let's say you spend $3 on breakfast, $8 on lunch, $10 on dinner. You add that up together in a day, that's $21, right? $21, if you do that every day for a 5-day work week, you're looking at $105 right there. And then if you do that for a whole month, let's say a 4-week month, you're looking at what? $420. And now, if you do that for an entire year, you're looking at about somewhere in the region of about $5,040. And that's a lot of money. I mean, if you think about that money alone, you could more than travel with that. However, I mean, you have to eat. You have to eat at some point during the day. So there's no way I'm suggesting that you do not buy food. But if you just think about one of those things, if you eliminated one of those items, and again, you might not do all of these things, but let's say you do one of them. If you could eliminate, let's say, breakfast, the cheapest one, $3. If you get rid of that expense, you're talking about $3 every day for a week. You have saved $15. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but multiply that by 4 weeks. You in a month you have 4 weeks. That's now $60 you have saved in a month. After saving $60 in a month, if you multiply that $60 by 6 months, now you're up to $360. And then if you want to double that and do it for another 6 months, now you're up to $720. In other words, just by saving $3 per day could get you to $700, get you saving $720 by the end of the year. Now, if you ask me, you can definitely travel in that amount of money. So I guess what I'm suggesting is just by eliminating one thing that you might eat throughout the day, you could actually be on your way to saving enough money to do your next travel. Of course, you have to eat. I recommend cooking and buying groceries so that that's food that lasts over a longer period of time. So I recommend that as opposed to eating out all the time. The second way I suggest is to stop buying clothes. Don't buy more clothes. I know this is very difficult for a lot of people because who doesn't like clothes, right? I mean, I know I do. But most of the times, most people, we have enough clothes for the most part. I mean, some of us have enough clothes that we could actually give away some of our clothes. But a lot of the times we feel kind of compelled whenever we get a paycheck, we have to get something new. We want to reward ourselves. And I'm not against rewarding ourselves, but for something, not just because you got paid. So by cutting down on buying clothes, you could save a little bit more money. You can apply that rule to the eliminating an item of food that you eat all the time. Apply the same thing to clothes. Some people buy a different item of clothes every time they get paid. If you eliminate that, you could actually save some more money for travel. My third way of saving for travel is to write down how much money you spend and how much you save. And this goes to budgeting. There's this book called The Total Money Makeover, written by Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a known financial expert of sorts. You could call him a financial expert. And he has a program called Financial Peace University as well. But he wrote this book called The Total Money Makeover, and I read this book. And in that book, one of the things I took away, I read everything. It was a very, very good book, and I recommend that you read it if you want to know a little bit more about money management. But in that book, he talked about putting down on paper your budget for the month, writing down all the bills, all the expenses that you have to pay, writing them down and being honest about that. Writing down every single expense, not leaving out some of the things that I do this on the side, but I don't want to put this. I don't think this is something that should go in my expenses bracket. Put everything there, everything that you do, and then subtract it from your income. And either of two things or three things can happen. Is either you're going to have a surplus of money whenever you subtract it from your income, you're going to break even, or you're going to be in the red. Now, bear in mind, when I say put everything down on paper, I mean everything from food to gas to water to light bill to telephone bill, every single thing that you have an expense on, and being honest about it. And then, when I say write it down, don't do it in your head either. Physically put it on paper. It makes a difference. Trust me, it makes a difference. So when you do that, you oftentimes will come up with money that you don't know where this money is going, because you'll find yourself maybe having a surplus of money that you're like, where did this come from? What have I been spending this money on? And that's a way that you can save, by being disciplined about how you spend your money, by putting down on paper how you spend your money, and make sure that you don't deviate from that. These are all the things that I need to pay this month, and I'm not going to spend any more money on anything else. And you will find that you'll have a surplus of money left over. Of course, that doesn't always work out. Sometimes you can genuinely break even, where the amount of expenses that you have is equal to the amount of income that you have, or you're in the red. Worst case scenario, you actually have more expenses than you have income coming in. In a situation like that, you have to develop another income stream. You have to either find a way to earn more, or to develop another income stream. And that is something I'm going to talk about down in this video. But you have to be disciplined about money. If travel is something that you're serious about and want to do, then you must be disciplined about money. And I really, really suggest writing it down. The first time I heard that tip, I thought, I can do it in my head. I don't need to write it down. I'm very good at math, so I don't need to write it down. I was wrong. When you write it down, it makes a complete difference than when you just think it out in your head. My fourth thing that I think you should do to save for travel is to research the cheapest prices for travel. Now, there are ways to travel inexpensively. There are many different ways, but One of the things I definitely recommend is to start early. For example, we are around the summertime now. Let's say I want to travel next summer. Um, when should I start planning for that? I should start planning for that right now, especially if finding the money to do a trip is something difficult. I recommend at least 6 months in advance, 6 months to a year in advance to plan for a trip. And the reason you want to do that is that you want to give yourself time to look for the cheapest available prices, whether that be for transportation to your destination and accommodation in or at your destination. You want to give yourself enough time to research it and see how prices fluctuate, because the price that I see today might not be the price that I see a month from now or 2 months from now. So you want to start early to give yourself time to look. So that's one reason. Some sites I recommend if you're going to fly is sites like Google Flights and Skyscanner. Those are known travel sites to give good, affordable plane tickets. So I recommend those. Others include Booking.com, Travelocity, Expedia, etc. Priceline. Those are some others, but I recommend that you look early, you look often, and you look at some of those sites that I just mentioned. I think by planning early, you get the best outcome, because you can make sure that everything you have here at home is in order before you go somewhere. So I definitely recommend planning ahead of time. And then my final thing that I recommend, develop a side hustle. What do I mean by developing a side hustle? I mean, have something that gives you another income. Have another source of income. Most people have a major source of income where they get majority of their income, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's their only source of income. But there are some other things you maybe can do to develop other, maybe smaller sources of income, but a little makes adds up to a lot. In Jamaica, we say little make enough. I don't know if you understand that, but what it means, little by little adds up to a lot. That's essentially what it means. So if you develop a side hustle, a different source of income, it could be a smaller source of income, that helps. And if that happens, you could dedicate that source of income to just traveling. So what are some things that you can do as a side hustle? You can do ride sharing programs. If you have a car, for example, there is Uber and there is Lyft. You can actually earn some money on the side doing ride sharing, where you just pretty much pick someone up and drop them off where they need to go through the app, being an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. And that is something that is very common, very popular today. And it's a good thing. It's a good way to make a little extra income. So that's one thing that you could do if you have a car. If you don't have a car, another common way of making money is by teaching English online or teaching a language online. That is something that is very in very high demand today. A lot of people are looking for English teachers. They want to learn English because English is one of the most spoken languages in the world. It's the language of business. And so a lot of people are looking for English tutors or English teachers. So going online and looking for people who might be wanting English teachers, that's another way of making a source of income. And by being a native English speaker or whatever language you speak, is not just English, any other language, by being a native English speaker, that in itself sometimes can qualify for you to teach English. Having a degree, it doesn't necessarily have to be in English. It just needs to be a degree from an accredited university or college. That also qualifies you in some spheres to teach English. But you can look around. The opportunities are endless and the requirements may differ depending on where you are. You can be a freelance teacher online too. It doesn't have to be for a company, but there are companies out there that hire English teachers, and then there are freelance teachers too. So you can check those out as you go along. And also, you can do other things like AdSense, affiliate marketing. Those are a little bit more for people who already have online platform and they want to help grow their online platform. They can use that. So it may require some pre-steps. However, I recommend that you still look into those. I mean, you never know what can happen. But yes, these are some of the things I think you can do. These are things that I have, tried myself, and I find them to be very useful. And I try to travel in a way that doesn't affect my lifestyle. It should enhance it, if anything. So what say you? Comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. Are there other ways that you think people could save for travel? Are there other little things that they could do, other side hustles or other tips that you have? I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to this video again. Subscribe below. I want your support, need your support, would like your support. And until next time, there's more to the world than where you live. Thanks.